Here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to Radioactive. Join us as we look at technology and life in the world around us, and have a little fun with it too. I'm Pat Morrow, and
this is John Brown.
I'm Flora Morrow.
And
I'm Dale Miracle, and this is Radioactive.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. And good evening to everybody. Good evening, Flora.
Hello, Patrick.
Good evening, Dale. Mr. Miracle, how are you? Good to see you.
Showing he's muted.
Interesting. Dale, hello.
See ya.
Now, let's change things over here so you can see we're live.
Oh, good. Me sitting here eating. Where did he go? Thing to do with the fact that the machine shut down and turned back on yesterday?
All right, can you hear me yet, Dale?
Yeah, now I can.
All right. Only took 15 minutes to fix it. Yeah, the blasted Zoom had disconnected me from the audio. Anyway, good evening, Dale. We'll start this from here. And it's good to see you. Where are you at tonight?
I'm in Cuba.
You're where? Did you say Cuba?
Yeah, Cuba, Missouri.
What did he say? I couldn't hear him.
He said he's in Cuba. What was that?
Oh.
He said he's in Cuba, Missouri.
Oh, Cuba, Missouri. Okay.
Sweet. Look at that.
I didn't even know there was a Cuba, Missouri.
Well, you do now.
I guess so. He is in a truck parking lot.
Yep, looks that way. Anyway, what's going on, Dale? How you been?
Working my butt off.
Any signs of coming home?
Yeah, I'm still deciding that it's either going to be... let's look at the calendar here. I was looking at that earlier. I don't know. It's either going to be next week or the week after. I'm not sure. 4 weeks will be the 22nd. So.
Well, hopefully we can all get together again.
But I'll be taking my vacation, so I'll be home for 2 weeks anyways. I just have to figure out when I want to do that. So it's either going to be next week or the week after.
I would imagine that seems pretty appealing.
Yeah, considering that I've had 3 weeks of 70 hours a week.
Wow. It's no wonder you ain't been able to join us. How long you worked today?
Huh?
How long have you worked today?
About 11 and a half hours.
Wow.
Something like that. I can't remember. I know I drove... I think I drove 10 and a half hours, so half-hour break for lunch. Yeah, probably around 11 hours.
Wow.
I did some restarts past 3 weeks, but but they were on days where, during the week where I can reset my 70 hours. But other than sitting, I think, once or twice for 34 hours, I've been working otherwise.
Well, you haven't missed much here. You missed another Browns facade. I swear. Every year it's the same thing.
You see my comment?
I did.
Comment about what?
About the Browns.
Why don't you share it with us? Or can you?
Well, Flora can correct me if I can't.
No.
Or if she's logged in, she can look. But I think I said something, because I'm not logged in right in the Facebook right now, but I'm thinking I said define insanity. And then I said something like watching the Browns for several decades and expecting them to be good.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me, even though this pandemic and all this was there, all the sports writers around here have all were saying, "Oh, well, they're gonna have a shot. They might be able to pull this game out." He's had some time. Stefanski's had time, and to be completely honest about it, I watched until about 5 minutes in, and I couldn't stand anymore. I got up and left. And every once in a while, I'd hear cheering, and I'd look back at the TV. And, of course, it wasn't the Browns making the cheering go on. But it ended up with the final score ended up 38-6.
Oh, man. I think that's probably I haven't kept track of them. I think I looked up their win-loss record, I think, in 2016 or 2017. If I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that's their second worst score. I think their worst score of all time, I think, was against Pittsburgh, I think sometime in the mid-90s, where it was something like 48 or 52-3.
52. It was 50-something. I thought it was 55-3.
Yeah, it was something like that, where they only got like an extra point.
They didn't even get an extra point in this game.
No, I mean, whatever they got. It's been so long since I watched football, I can't even remember the rules anymore. But I remember they only had like three points.
Yeah. They looked like they were going to start gelling a little bit, and then they'd fumble it. At one point, they were 3rd and 41, and then Baker got sacked for 14 more yards. I just...
Well, remember what I said, I think, I can't remember if it was the last time we talked about the Browns or the time before that. I said, I don't know if this says more about the Raiders than it does about the Browns, but back in the 70s into the 80s, the Raiders would actually have more negative yardage in one game than the Browns have had in the past 15 in positive yardage.
I believe it.
You remember the you remember the Raiders back then, Pat?
Yeah,
Oh, I mean...
Of course, I want also... I remember a team that went 1-32. Or 1-31, rather. I don't know what's bothering my throat tonight, but
I can remember the Raiders, the coaching of this was all alleged from former players and stuff. They said if you're going to make a tackle, make it count. He said if the guy doesn't get up, it's one less person we have to worry about.
Yep. I wish they'd follow that attitude now.
Yeah.
but you've changed so many things around as far as the rules in the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
There isn't any way you get away with that.
Yeah, the Raiders. I mean, if they didn't have a late hit, they wouldn't hit.
They had. I got to do this. If I'm going to talk Browns, I've got to do this.
No, not again.
Yes, again.
Dale's going to say, forget this stuff.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm just messing.
If I'm gonna talk about the Browns,
what you need to do is redub over Pittsburgh sucks. You have to dub over Pittsburgh and say Cleveland Browns.
I don't know if he's quite ready to do that yet.
all right.
He may
Since
be
we're
close.
talking Browns, these are things that really piss me off.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
All right, now the segment's open. Now we can talk about these idiots. Kind of starting off in the game, you got Baker Mayfield within the first five throws of the game, or 5 plays of the game, throws a damned interception. Not just off the guy's hands, nowhere close to where the son of a gun could receive it. And if he ends up fumbling it away, or the receiver, and it gets before it hits the ground, it gets picked off. Then we do finally end up getting a touchdown, get clear down to the end zone, kick, it goes in. I think it was I can't remember his name. He was hardly used last year. He ends up, the third receiver gets a touchdown. Okay, all well and good. We go to kick an extra point, a squib kick, extra point from 21, 22 yards out. A high school kid can make this, and he misses it. And he also misses a field goal. Several turnovers later, he misses a damn field goal. What? Just what? You supposedly rebuilt this damn team. You've rebuilt the kickers, and you supposedly rebuilt the offensive line. Nobody's even close to coming together yet. And this is what aggravates me about the Browns. Every fucking year we go through this. Excuse my French. There will be an explicit tag on this. You can believe. I've gotten into the habit of doing that anyway because I let things fly when they piss me off like this.
Yeah.
But when in the living love of God hell are we actually going to get a football team that can win a game?
The next game. I'm telling you. I predict the next game they're going to win.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, you do that.
Think I'd hold her to that,
Who do they play?
Cincinnati, Thursday
They're
night.
going to win.
Thursday night, Cincinnati.
That's my boss's team.
Well, Pat, we have an improvement with the quarterback because I think one of our quarterbacks from like a few years ago, whenever he would throw an interception, he would actually throw it to the other players on the other team.
Really?
As if he was making a completion with one of ours. Remember?
Yeah. We actually have, we've got somebody joining us. Good evening, Dave Kanyan. How are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. How are you? Hey, Dale.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Not doing too bad. How about you?
All right, not bad. I was just sitting here. I was just perusing Facebook, and I saw you had a post with the Zoom click and everything like that. 7 o'clock, so I said, you know what? I'll just click on it and see what happens.
You're always
Yeah,
welcome
you know.
in here. Always welcome.
Here we
It's
are.
good to be here.
Even though we sit and talk about these stinking Browns.
This is
Oh, yeah,
his.
the Cleveland
This is
Browns?
what really pisses him off this week. Well, any week that they play probably, but
They, we had our first season game against Baltimore, which is the worst. That's one of the biggest rivalries we've got
And-
because
and
it's
you
the old
lost?
Browns against the new Browns,
The Browns lost.
and the Browns they got slaughtered.
badly.
We've got a new coach. We've got a new coaching staff. We've had several new players, offensive and defensive, come in, and they stunk. They absolutely stunk. Baker Mayfield, the savior of the Browns, couldn't throw his way out of a damn paper sack. And every year it's the same thing. This kind of reminds me. I don't know what you follow up there, but that Buffalo teams had the same kind of
I
luck.
was gonna say probably. Let's see, where do you live?
Well, listen, I live in upstate New York, but I live very far from Buffalo, and I was born in New York City. I grew up in New York City, so I'm more of a Giant fan and Jet fan. But I don't. Let me just tell you right now, this is a reason. Listening to you speak, and I've listened to so many men, mostly men at jobs, and Dale knows because he's a truck driver. So many men speak. I don't make emotional investments into these things. I just don't. Because I'm listening to you, I go, oh, see, that's why I moved on. Because you're going to drive yourself crazy following one of the worst teams in football. I have two friends. I have one acquaintance. I have two friends that are Buffalo Bills fanatics. And they have decorated their basements in Buffalo Bill paraphernalia and attire. And up until like this year or last year, that was like, it's like torture. You breathe it, you live it, you speak it.
You do. We do this every year as Browns fans.
Well,
Look at that Robert De Niro clip yelling at Sylvester Stallone for that movie Good Cop or Cops or whatever. You're a loser. You blew it. What are you doing to yourself, Pat? What are you doing to yourself? Stop making emotional investments into these.
I can't help it, Dave. I can't help it.
does this. We go through this every year. He
Every
sits there and he tells me, "Oh, it's gonna." And I'm like, "Don't get yourself excited."
I thought it was going to be different this year. I really did.
Well,
You're not helping your case.
yeah.
know,
Well,
Question, Dave. The
Go ahead,
correct
Dale.
question now. Next time you ask Pat or any Browns fan, the correct question is not did the Browns win. You ask them how badly did they lose this time.
They lose? Deal.
38
Trying
to
to close the gap. What was the score today? What was the score?
38 to 6.
That's like the guys from the movie 300 playing the Bad News Bears. The Spartans versus the Bad News Bears. And all the Bad News Bears, there's only one player on the Bad News Bears. It's the nose picker. That's it. From the original movie. Pat, listen, I'm not a religious man. I'm going to pray for you.
Thank you, Dave.
You have to stop this insanity. You need to. I mean, here's the question that your wife should be asking you. What are you going to do when you grow up, Pat? What are you going to do? You got to clear away your Sunday. 3 hours every Sunday you watch. Oh, by the way, and you do this like 16 consecutive weeks, probably because you never make the playoffs. So otherwise it would be 18 or 19 weeks. Pat, you got to stop the insanity. Let's find something else. Let's do some bonsai clipping, or let's grow a tomato.
Let's start an internet radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start into the radio station. Let's talk about ham radio. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
dear.
tell you. I feel, but Dale, right? When we go to work, right? I mean, I don't know if you report to a facility or something like that, but that's all you hear every season. Our guys, your guys, us versus you. It's like us versus you. You're a truck driver. You make thousands. They're millionaires. They make. What are you talking about? Us versus them. They don't think of you. They don't care about Pat. They don't care about my 3 Buffalo Bill morons. They're just doing they're coloring their hair all different colors. They got all gold chains and cars, and they're going on vacation, and they're making baby mamas, and they're doing all the crazy stuff. They could care less about Pat Morrow. And Pat, I pray for you. I do. I don't know how to pray, but I will learn. I will go to seminary just to pray for you.
Well,
I will be ordained for you, just for you.
One of our local there's a local group on Facebook called 330. I believe it's 330 to go or something like that. Which 330 is an area code in this area, and they do like news reports and whatever. And well, they posted this afternoon. They said, with as bad as everything is in 2020, we have to thank the Browns for bringing us to normalcy.
That's terrible.
It's like we can only go up from here.
And the worst part about most of this is the fact that, at least this year, I have a couple of different football teams I watch. I like Ohio State. I always have, and they can't even play this year. I mean, of course, from what I'm hearing, we were going to do a segment on this in tonight's show. There's rumor that they're going to actually be able to. The Big Ten is going to come back on October 17th to actually be able to play. And if that happens, I'm going to be happier than hell, because at least that'll give me something to watch. I torture myself every year with these damn Browns. I've done it since I was a kid, and I'll probably do it till my time in the grave, and even past that. I just want to see him win one.
He's going to come back and haunt him.
I just want to see him win a season. Take. I didn't. It's all like I always said when I was back in the '80s when the Browns were actually halfway decent. I always used to say, if they ever went to the Super Bowl, I'd buy a videotape specially for that. And in this case, I'd probably buy a DVD especially for that. I would take and record the game on it, and if they won, I'd play that thing till it wore out, and if they lost, it'd sit in the corner collecting dust until the damn thing rotted away. But that's just the way it's always been with the Browns here. A lot of people say they're cursed. A lot of people say that they're. It's just the Browns, but you got to wonder how much money is factoring into this too. For them to be as bad as they are for as many years as it's been.
Is somebody paying them to be that bad?
They've stunk since 1999.
What, Dale?
You mean they're actually paid
to be bad?
They're professionals, Dale. They're paid to lose.
I'm beginning to wonder that, Dave.
There are times.
What really upsets me is a Cleveland Browns is sitting on a bench all season, makes $30,000 more than me, just sitting on his ass.
To lose.
To lose.
Maybe I should try out for one of their cheerleaders. Do they have cheerleaders? Do they have the Cleveland Browns?
12,000 miles a week, and this guy's sitting there eating Snickers on the damn bench.
Can you imagine that you're the worst player on the worst team in the NFL and getting paid more than you, Dale, and me? Getting paid more. We are. By the way, we are. What's the word during the COVID? We are
essentials.
We are
essentials. Yeah.
The punter or the field goal kicker. By the way, the guy in the Buffalo Bills today missed his first 2 professional career field goals. And so imagine you're the worst player on the worst team and yet getting paid more than us. That's the problem in America. That's the problem with Pat Morrow's America, by the way. That's the problem with Pat Morrow's America. Because as he had just admitted, ever since he was a kid, which, begs the question, when does the maturation process begin? When does Pat Morrow start to mature into a full-fledged adult and go, all right, we're not doing this no more. Sundays are now football free, and I'm going to just clip bonsai plants and grow tomatoes and play on the ham radio or something, or maybe be a big brother to a little child and teach them how not to be. Just do something productive for this planet, as opposed to sitting on.
I feel like I'm sitting at the funny stop. I really do.
Well, and there for a couple years. Of course, this year it's out, but there for a couple years or so, maybe 3 years in a row, during the biggest time of the games, he's been involved on a ham radio class. So he hasn't been here.
Yeah,
I've been sitting here watching. Now I give you, this man can't stand the national announcers so much that he turns around and shuts off.
Joe Buck's enough to make you puke.
He mutes the TV and finds a local radio station to play the game. And I sit there going, really? Because of course the timing's a little different, But, that's why I'm thinking, man, when he's in those classes, I can just sit here. I don't care what the national announcers say. I just care what the outcome is.
Anybody that can sit and listen to a whole game of Joe Buck has probably got mush for brains.
Oh, well, that's not nice.
He is a fan. He's the only fan he is of himself.
So, Pat, here's the $1 million idea.
Uh-oh.
Stop listening to all announcers. Do your own commentary and then record it and then put it on.
I've thought about it.
And you'll make $1 million. You can edit it down a little bit and just go for it. Just say everything that's on your mind and then, closed caption, whatever. Put it on YouTube. You make $1 million.
I've told him he needs to do that with some of the commercials he complains about.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Don't get me started.
He oh my gosh, he picks apart all the commercials, and I'm sitting there going, making fun of him, and I'm thinking, you know what? You try and do this. Just go ahead, do it.
There was a Facebook thing that I posted here a couple of days ago that said that they were talking about. It was in one of the radio groups that I'm in, and it asked, without bashing anybody, who is the worst radio personality that drives you nuts? And this was a local thing, so they said locally. And my answer was not so much radio or TV personalities, but commercials. If you have a commercial on the radio, TV, whatever, and you've got somebody in there that doesn't know how to speak clearly, what the hell's the sense of having a commercial? We've got this one up here. It's for Heart Radio. I won't say the first name, but it begins with an I.
Patrick. Oh my God.
Woman comes on and she wants to talk about politics, which is the next thing that drives me up a wall. And she comes on and she says, "It's very important that we go and vote." Now, I'm not being prejudiced. I don't know if this woman is black, white, blue, purple, or what. I don't care. But her diction when she says she can't put the letter T in important, give me a break. Then there's another one that I don't want to get completely started on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's another one that comes on and she talks about her little boy having his own cell phone, which is a crime by itself. And he's not allowed to play on the cell phone.
13-year-olds upstairs.
He's not allowed to play on the cell phone until he takes his online practice tests. Ugh.
All right, dear. You can get off.
And that's what pisses me off.
You can get off your soapbox now. Moving on. Where are we going to go now?
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Would you say that a comparison of the Browns in terms of trucking, that the Browns would basically be the Swift
Yes.
of the trucking industry?
Yep.
It's the place you go to get your experience, then you get the hell out.
Oh.
Right. Does everybody know what SWIFT stands for? I know you do, Dale.
No.
I know the safe for work ones.
Yeah. Well, I know a safe one I could say. Pat, do you in Flo, do you know what SWIFT stands for?
No.
Swift trucking?
No.
Sure. SWIFT. Sure wish I'd finished training.
Sure wish what? I'm sorry.
Sure wish I finished training.
Oh.
Yeah.
The other one, they
the other
have
has more.
turned their trucks up since this acronym was formed, but this was back in the early 2000s into the mid 20 teens. The other one that we're allowed to say without you getting a really explicit tag on this is sure wish I had a faster truck.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I took my headphones off. What'd you say, Dale?
Sure wish I had a faster truck.
Oh.
Because back then, the slowest trucks on the road were J.B. Hunt, Swift, and Schneider.
Oh,
And they sped up Swift to 65. But I think Schneider, the East Coast Schneider trucks are still like 60 or 62. I think some of the West Coast trucks can do every bit of 70 or faster. But J.B. Hunt is still like stuck in the 80s doing almost like 55, 60.
Oh, God. It's terrible. No, that's true. Pat, and Pat, listen, I want to help you, Pat. I feel like we need to do an intervention.
Yes,
we need an intervention. Is that other guy?
Problem.
Yeah, what's that? What's your problem?
Admit your problem.
Yeah, Pat. Well, I think he has. I mean, I think he
that's
realizes. I think he has. It's just he doesn't know that there's 11 more steps to go. He just I'm going to admit. No, I think he admits the Cleveland Browns have a problem. Pat doesn't have a problem, except for the fact that he's okay with sitting there listening to horrible national announcers announce the worst football team in the NFL for the last 26 some odd years. Even though I think they were one of the first teams in the NFL,
Yes, they were.
They forgot how to be a football team, but it's crazy. And that you get these quarterbacks that are supposed to be saviors, and they just drop off the face of the earth. And do you still have that ex-Giant with the blonde hair?
Yeah, you're talking about Odell Beckham. Yeah, we have him.
Yeah, what happened to that combination of Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield? That's not happening.
Last year Beckham was pretty much injured.
Yeah.
He had some health issues.
Okay.
He had surgery, and the guy, to be honest about it, he's turned into almost kind of a clown. And
that's what he was in New York. He was a clown.
Well, that's what he's doing here, and I think what's going to happen to now with Stefanski as a coach, I think what's going to happen here is the coaching's going to come down on him big time. He had a play that I watched this afternoon from. It could have been like a 6-yard gain, but because he decided he didn't like this guy being in his way, he grabbed grabbed his face mask and dragged him with him for about a yard or two, and they threw a 15-yard penalty at him. There was a series there that Cleveland was down at the 26-yard line, first and 10 at the 26, and ended up. Sorry about the dogs here. And ended up third and 41 because of penalties. Third and flipping 41. And one of them was because of that Beckham play. This is stupid.
It was just dumb stuff today. That's all there was to it. Just dumb
and
stuff.
When the look on Beckham's face when he did that, he knew what he was doing. And I hope that damn coaching staff comes down on him so big time it ain't even funny. That's immature.
Yeah. Well, speaking of immaturity, Pat, I think you have a couple of choices here. You could continue to live the way you're living your life right now, and we will revisit this every September. We'll hear the same conversation. Or maybe we could discuss moving. Different part of the country.
I'll move to Florida.
He'd go to Florida.
I'll move down there.
Go to Florida.
I'll move to Tampa. Tampa's got it's going to have a good football team. They got Brady, and they got Gronk.
Are we going to discuss, are we going to decide our habitants based on the professional team?
Yeah, why not?
That's the criteria?
It's better than Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I guess there's. I don't know what to tell you, Pat. You're a man of a certain age, and I hate to see you live your life this way and waste. I don't want to see you. I want to see you healthy and carefree. And as long as you keep on making this emotional investment into these guys, you're not a part of the team. I'm glad you're not actually on the field. And you don't go to the games, do you? You don't actually.
No. No.
No, you don't tailgate. No. Okay.
Oh no.
No.
Do you drink to excess during these games? Any chance you get to black out?
He maybe should, but no, he does not.
You do not drink.
Me, I do. But
yes.
no.
Yeah. So Flo, I would drink until I black out. So this way, you don't have to be a part of this.
I'm a lightweight anymore. One glass of wine about does me.
Okay. Well, there you go. Now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I did say the word. I did say the word Pittsburgh, so I got to do this.
Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks.
Okay.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Okay.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Okay, dear. And Dave, he has a son-in-law and a daughter that they are the big, Pittsburgh fans. And whenever the Browns have won, he's got to rub it in their nose with that song.
Oh, they do the same thing to me.
They do not.
They do too.
No, they don't.
Crap.
By the way, so when this football season is over, and it can't be over soon enough for me already. I know we're in week 1. What will be next? Do you make emotional investments into your baseball team or your, whatever?
No, not really.
He does.
I watch the Indians when I can.
Football is the only thing he really gets
But
into.
the football thing's the only thing I'm really into. The basketball, LeBron James and all that. Yeah.
No,
and
you can't do it.
I don't watch any of it. The
Cavaliers.
Yeah, the Cavs. Yeah, and they've sucked ever since LeBron went to
Wherever.
L.A.
Oh, L.A. Right. Oh, L.A. Right. Yeah, he's not with the Cavaliers. All right. So in the wide world of sports, Pat, I don't know if you can see my hand, but I'm doing this picture like the globe. In the wild world of sports, you're just going to be married to basketball football, and the worst team in the NFL for the last 27 years. And by the way, and the color brown. I mean, and aren't their helmets like orange, but they're called the Browns?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on this?
Yeah.
No.
They actually were named after Paul Brown. That wasn't
I
any
know,
reference to the color.
Right. Is Paul Brown the one that sold the team and moved the team in the middle of the night?
Oh no, that was
Art Modell.
Art Modell, right? In the middle of the night, he moved the team to Baltimore or whatever.
Yeah.
See, even the team that originally was the Browns didn't want to be the Browns, and they left. They didn't say, but wait a minute, whoa. What about Pat? They went, no. We're out of here. Pack up. They got that Mayflower truck. They loaded up that Mayflower truck.
And that's about the way it worked, too.
And they were goners.
Just like Indianapolis did to their following.
Excuse me.
They moved out in the middle of the night, too.
I think you should get behind Dave Canyon's go-karting career. I think that's what you should do. You should get behind, or Dale and Dave, the racing team. I mean, let's get out there. Let's race some trucks or some go-karts. And
yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, you just the Crooked River Radio should sponsor us and
the Dale and Dave.
But we'll have a great time. Yeah, the Dale and Dave racing team. I don't know if Dale's into it.
Wonder if we could do something like that virtually. That'd be kind of cool. I'd sponsor that. Damn right.
Okay.
We'll have to talk about it.
But the only racing I do is when I have my Jake on going down a hill at 70, 75 miles an hour.
Like, whoa. Yeah. How about when you have to go to the bathroom and you're in between exits? That's always a lot of fun. Is that an issue you've come across yet? You were a man of that certain age yet, Dale? You look young.
I'm 46, so it's
not yet.
Not yet.
It's coming.
It's coming, probably.
It's coming, yeah. Well, it's gonna. One day, it's just gonna happen. You're gonna be driving, like, uh-oh. And then that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go, uh-oh, and you'll either make it 8 more miles, or you go, oh, I can't do it, and then.
Well, at least the new trucks we got are automatic.
Nice.
So I don't have to worry about touching the clutch.
Oh no. Automatic. How you dealing with that, man? Automatic.
I
Uh,
actually don't mind it. I can actually eat pretzels in traffic and not have to worry about breaking them when I grab the gear shift.
okay. All right. At least there's a good reason. I got to tell you, we have two automatics. I know that you don't want to do a trucking show, Pat, but we have two automatics at my job, and I avoid them like the plague. I avoid
Are
them.
they automated manuals or are they actually automatic transmissions?
I don't know. Automated manuals. I don't know. I avoid them so much I don't even know. I just
Do you actually hear it? Do you actually hear it shifting as it's going, like you're actually shifting?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
oh,
those
yeah.
are automated. I found out there's a difference. They're actually called automated manuals because there's actually a unsynchronized transmission that the computer is actually doing the shifting on, where it's not like an automatic that's in a car
No.
where it's like fluid where you just move. Yeah, because well, this is a 2020 and I drove a I can't remember. I think it was a 2016. I can't remember. It was a Freightliner. They had an automated manual, and that thing was. Oh well, I'm just going to be nice. That thing shouldn't have been made. I mean,
Right.
It didn't know how to. The new ones, like the one for in this Kenworth, it'll do adaptive shifting. So it'll start off and it'll go like 3rd, 7th, 9th, 11th. Okay, I'm done. Well, that one, it would be like 2nd, 3rd,
Oh god.
4th. And when you go in reverse, it would, if you're on a flat thing backing up to a dock,
Right.
it would come to a stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one, I don't know what Packard did with their transmission on here, but this one, it's actually like backing up a car.
Oh wow.
It stays in gear all the way. The only problem I have sometimes is if I'm too heavy going up an incline dock, I have to give it some throttle, but
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. It's a nightmare. I gotta stop this for 1 second. Pat, you can see me, right? You can see my screen?
Oh yeah.
All right, I got a special treat for you. All right, we got a special guest on the show. I hope it's okay that I show this. I don't want you to get upset. There you go.
Joe Buck.
You know that show you used to have here on Monday nights?
Oh, no way.
My new co-host. Look at it. It's a good fit. Look at that. Me and Joe Buck. You're gonna get a lot of. It's gonna be great
Oh,
for the
my
network.
Lord.
There you go. All right. I thought you'd appreciate that.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Okay. Anyway, no, yeah, Dale, we have the automatic that we have. Again, I hate to bore the listeners with trucking, but we have this. When you go in reverse to get underneath the trailer, if the trailer's heavy, you got to give that thing gas. But you can't feather it. You can't play with the clutch. So you're giving it gas, and if that trailer's low and heavy, and the trailer's trying to get underneath, but you got to give it gas. You got to raise that trailer, and by the time you get underneath that trailer and push it up, you're going so fast, you're going to hit that kingpin, and you snap your neck off. You can't do it gradually, which is craziness.
I got really good because I drove a forklift for about a year and a half, so I got used to using both feet. I actually got very good with that Freightliner to get underneath the trailer, to hit the brake, and at the same time. But I remember one time I was on gravel trying to get under one, and I got under it, and the fifth wheel didn't pivot to flatten out, and the trailer actually went back down and shot me like a marble.
Oh God. Terrible. Out of all the things, Dale, that we have to put up with as truck drivers, it shouldn't be how to prevent snapping my neck while I'm trying to get underneath the trailer to do my job. And I shouldn't have to worry about backing up a loaded trailer. We have this distribution center in Newark, New Jersey, Starbucks. and I'm trying to back up this loaded trailer. It's almost 80,000 pounds, with the tractor of milk, and I'm trying to give it gas to go uphill backwards, and it won't do it. It won't do it, and I got my 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas, and I don't want to hit the trailer behind me because we don't back up into a dock. We just back up to another trailer.
Oh,
I don't want to.
wow.
I don't want to. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I don't want to destroy the reefer. And it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So I've only driven it twice, I think, in the last 2 or 3 years. And apparently the story is we're getting more of these.
I know you've talked about the accident camera on your truck, and I've been meaning to call into your show and leave a voicemail about that.
Yes, please do.
Before you called in, I've had like 3 weeks of 70-hour weeks with 2 34-hour restarts. So I'm like tired. But I was going to call in and talk about my accident camera, because my company, they disabled the internal.
Nice.
But we still have the out one. But in the company I worked for about 6 years ago, they had them inside and out, and I actually was one of 20 that did the initial testing of them. And then we had the option of, once the testing thing was over, we had the option of having certain features of it disabled because we volunteered, and I had mine disabled in inside camera and the microphone and stuff. But other drivers, they had to have everything activated. But what was funny is you talked about getting under the trailers, and that I actually would set the camera off trying to get under a trailer.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, because people don't realize, because you go under, and how Dave was describing this is exactly how it is. There's a pin on the bottom, and it basically looks like a plastic thumbtack.
Right.
And it's underneath the trailer, hanging down like this. And then there's a fifth wheel, and it's basically like this.
Right.
And you go like this, and then there's a little collar that spins around and locks it in place. Well, when you're trying to back under the trailer, it pivots on the back of the truck, the fifth wheel, so that when you're going under the trailer, it tips, and then as you're going, it will level out, and then you can go into place. Well, what happens is you get 44,000 pounds, and the person that dropped the trailer didn't leave like a half inch or so before they dropped it, where it's sitting on the ground itself. And what happens is, if it's on the ground and it's at the proper height, you just go under it and you don't have a problem. If they dropped it a little bit and had a space, you actually have to pick the trailer up. And this is an actual, what it actually feels like when you're backing up. It's like,
oh, Jesus.
And you're like,
did you just hit your head?
That hurt. I felt that clear over here.
that's exactly how it's like.
That is commitment.
Anything that was back here is now.
Yes.
Up there.
Dale, we got to get that on a GIF. That's got to be on a loop. You really committed to that, Dale. That was good. Well, you really.
I had to give
okay?
it more emphasis, to get the true feeling, because people don't realize what the effect.
You have me muted.
Because it's basically like. It's basically like a crash.
Yes. Yeah, you're purposely crashing backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had, with the one of the companies I drove for, they had a message where, to make sure that your kingpin is lined up with your fifth wheel, because I think I know where you might know where I'm going with this. This new driver was not centered.
Right.
Backed under this 45 and 45,500 pounds. I think it was like dog food or something. Backed under it. Yeah. Didn't line it up. And let's just say 4 feet of the trailer ended up in the back of the truck.
Wow.
Oh, crap.
He missed the kingpin.
Oh.
It jumped the fifth wheel
Oh my
And-
God.
right into the back of the sleeper.
Wow. Oh, Crush-O-Matic. Crusheroo.
Oh yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta go straight up. It's crazy. Well, listen. We could do a whole show about
I
all
was
the
going to say,
idiotic
you two
trucking,
sound
yeah.
like you could do it.
Yeah, but so see, Flo. But here's the problem. Dale is so dead on with all that, and there's so many stories across this country about so many jobs. You can go into every sector of of employment. Whether it's real estate or
Right.
truck driving or dentistry. Everybody has great stories, but the stories in trucking are the problem with the stories in trucking is they're avoidable. They're avoidable. We can do better. We can be smarter, but yet people in the upper, they get out of college, and I'm not trying to do this us versus them, the college graduates versus the idiot truck drivers, but they do get hired, and they have to somehow make their mark, and they have to perform, they have to create something, and the only way they get noticed is to change things.
Yeah.
And they change things.
Trust me, it's
often
not
for
in
the
just
worse.
trucking.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We could do a show, and I've suggested this, when my retirement and when I transition to life, I could do a show called "That's So Stupid," that is so stupid, or another show called "I'm Writing a Letter," and I'm going to write a letter, or it could be like those what is those shows? It doesn't matter. Those murder shows where half the show is the crime being committed and the guy being caught, and the second half is them being prosecuted. Those
like
cop shows.
like investigation discovery or the
Yeah,
48
or-
hours or yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking more like the SUV, Law and Order,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Where the first half is the crime, the second half. So we could do a first half show about how stupid something is, and the second half is we've written a letter, and now we're going to make a change. We're going to persecute. Well, I don't want to say persecute. We're going to pursue the person who created this stupid thing, and find out what are you doing? Why did you do that? Child, young man, young woman, out of college with your super duper degree. When's the last time you drove a truck? Well, probably never. But there's so many different degrees of, so many different jobs that probably this happens. So that's the problem, right, Dale? Is that the problem? Like, these things could be avoided. We could do better.
Yeah,
but
the
we don't.
companies. Yeah, the companies I've driven for over the years. Some of them where they were highly educated, highly intelligent, and completely ignorant about the trucks. Like they bought this one company, they bought these trucks and they spec'd them out so that there was only one working drive axle. It wasn't even a tag. It was a dead axle. No lift, no nothing. And then what was the other thing that they did? Oh, they put these the super singles on the back there, and the first winter we had them, our wrecker bill was, I think, because some people were on Christmas holiday, our wrecker bill in the first winter in Christmas was $75,000.
Yeah.
In January, our wrecker bill was $110,000. They sent a message out on the Qualcomm saying, and they had to resend this very quickly because we were coming with torches and pitchforks after they said this. They said, we need to work better as a team by not getting your truck stuck. Because our wrecker bill was $110,000 this month.
No.
And we're like, oh, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Yeah.
You didn't say that, did you?
Yeah. That's terrible. Who was your boss at the time? Gavin Newsom, the governor of California?
But I
the
have
guy
to
that
say,
says shut off your air conditioner? Yeah. That's
but
terrible.
the company I'm with now, I told them, and I even posted on there, this is, a while ago, because I've been with them for like a year and a half now, but I even posted on their Facebook page. If I would have known about this company 17 years ago, I would have worked for this company for 17 years.
Wow.
Because the owner of the company was a truck driver. The son of the truck driver, The owner of the company was a truck driver. His son was a truck driver, and now does the daily operation of the company. Everybody in breakdown in the road maintenance for when you have problems you need fixed on the truck, they all have driven. And there is a certain small percentage of in dispatch of people that have driven trucks, but everybody in the entire company, it doesn't matter if you're cleaning the toilets or if you're the COO or the CEO, and it's a family-owned company. It's all big nepotism. And every single person has to take the exact same DOT, FMCSA, Keller, I can't remember.
J.J. Keller?
J.J. Keller training videos.
Wow.
Everybody. Okay. And some of them have actually done short trips, like a day trip with a driver to see what it's actually like. And some of them, if they knew the person and they were okay with it, some of them actually had overnight trips where they actually slept in the truck with the driver and did like a day out, day back.
Yeah. Should do that. They should do that with all companies and do it more often. I mean, if everybody knows what you're doing and what's going on with us, the driver, then everything will just work a lot smoother because we'll go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let's fix that. Well, that doesn't make sense. Whatever. And you guys should have came with those pitchforks. You probably should have. Probably that would have sent a very clear message.
But although they rescinded it, I'm thinking it was like a couple hours later, and they reworded it and said that, I can't remember how they reworded it, but they're like, mea culpa, don't kill us. Right. But I mean, I got stuck on flat ground at a Lowe's distribution center. A spotter had to come and pull me with these trucks. And they ended up, I quit about after that first winter. Before the next winter, I quit and told him, I said, I'm not driving this. It's unsafe and whatever, but yeah, the only thing I can ask about the company I'm with now is sometimes I know they get busy and they're managing a lot of, we got 525, 550 trucks.
Wow.
I don't know how many were on the road at one time because of home time and vacations and that, but sometimes they'll dispatch me based on the paid miles, and our average length of dispatch is 1,500 to 2,400 miles. So when you get a 24-hour, like for example, I go from Calexico to Charleston, South Carolina. Well, the paid miles is like 180 some miles off of the actual miles. And then when you call them up, like a day or so later and telling them that I'm not going to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning. They're like, well, why? And I said, because 68 miles an hour divided by 2,350 miles is not, I'll just throw a number out,
Right.
It's not 27 hours.
Right.
So.
Right. They get upset when you're a little bit late.
No. I've only had one time where they got upset with me, and it was more of a thing where I don't know what happened. And as the kids would say, I'm not even sure if they even say this anymore, but that too long didn't read is I did an overnight to deliver to a customer, and then I told my fleet manager that I was beat because I did two back-to-backs, which is different than what Dave does because his is the same time every day. My shift is basically whenever the truck is moving.
Right.
So it could be 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. It can be 4 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, I told my fleet manager, I'm beat. I want to sleep in. I don't want anything until the morning. Well, and Dave will relate to this. I set my phone to do not disturb, and I've corrected this since then because I found out a feature in Android that I'll talk about real quickly. But I set my phone to silent because I don't want to be disturbed because there's enough noises in a truck stop and that to begin with. So I go to sleep, and I don't know why Verizon didn't record the voicemail or even showed that I had a missed call. But I was in the hills in Tennessee, so that could have been a possible reason. But they allegedly called me at midnight because I was the only truck in the area to drive to pick up this trailer and deliver it in Charlotte, North Carolina by 7 a.m. Well, I didn't get the message, and I wake up to like a whole bunch of messages on the Qualcomm, which powers itself off after an hour after you turn the truck off. So my fleet manager calls me up and he says, no, my fleet manager wasn't in the office yet. That's what it was. Somebody else called me up and asked me why I didn't pick that up. And I said, didn't you read on the Qualcomm that Josh said that driver requested not to be, because we have what they call forced dispatch, but it's more of a policy of once they give you something, you can't refuse it. You can say, hey, I'm too tired. I need some sleep, and they'll put you off. Well, apparently when they did that, they didn't look at the screen and said that driver is sleeping.
Right.
And when my fleet manager came in, he cleared it up with them. But
Can you say what company you work for now, since you like them so much, or you rather not?
oh yeah. I've actually, it's on my Facebook even. Excuse me. Yeah, it's even on my Facebook. It's a Danny Herman Trucking in Mountain City, Tennessee.
Danny Harmon?
Danny Herman.
Danny Herman? I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
God forbid I need another trucking job in my life.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're really in the hiring area because I don't think they really go up that far up into New York. You'd have
No. Unlike Pat, I would move. I would actually just move. I'm not gonna stay with a losing team for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah. No, it's. But yeah, they're a good company. I mean, they've had some slow growth over here and there. Because I've talked to drivers that worked here in the 80s when they had like 100 trucks, and you figure they've only gained 400 trucks in the past 30 years. And their policy, basically, or their stance is more of like they want quality instead of quantity.
Really? What?
That's what I'm saying. They're I wouldn't say like particular. I guess they're somewhat particular about hiring. I mean, they do have trainers. They're not doing any right now because of COVID, but they'll take people that are trained.
These guys?
Yeah.
Yep, that's I remember that truck.
Yeah. They're I don't want to say Christian based, but they have a good Christian foundation where in our debriefing videos that they'll record every so many months just to give us an update on what's going on with the company. They always will see a scripture or they'll just have a prayer, whatever.
Nothing wrong with
Or,
that.
yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. But any communications is always, God bless, or they'll have like the Leviathan, and they'll have like Book of John, this quote. And,
Really? Wow.
Well, I would have something. I would rather hear something Christian based than something stupidity based, and that's what I hear all the time.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean that's all I get is stupidity based. It's unbelievable, and we have no communication. And Pat, I'm sorry that Dale and I have hijacked the show about
No
trucking,
problem, Dave.
but we have no communication at my company. So anything that's new, and this just happened. Anything that's new, anything I need to know in my company, or even if I don't need to know it, they rely on me hearing it in the yard, like in prison. That's what they expect me to do. They expect me to be walking from my truck, to my car or whatever, to dispatch, and I'm supposed to pass another driver, and then he gives me the information. It's like the game telephone, and by the time I get the information, who knows if it's accurate or true? But I just heard something the other day about these trailers that we bought from another company in Florida. We call them the Florida trailers, and I pull doubles, Dale, right? I pull these full-size doubles, and they're Florida doubles. So that means they're not registered in New York for doubles. They're not registered. And we don't know. We absolutely have no idea how much these trailers were used for doubles in Florida. Okay? So for those of you in the audience that are still tuned in to this horrible trucking show now, in the back of the trailer, it does not look like this. So we have a little. It does not look like this. See the bottom where the red and white is? You see that, guys?
Yeah.
That is just a regular tail trailer. That's a regular trailer. Ours, the doubles trailers, on the bottom, there's these hookups. There's these airlines and things. It makes it able to connect to the connector or the bogey or the dolly.
Yeah, the pintle hooks.
Right. And then it connects to the tail trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked up about 10 of these Florida trailers. They are not registered in New York. So therefore we cannot use them. And also, it's so hard to talk about this. They also are not working. They don't, the things that are supposed to move, valves, pintle hooks, they don't work. They haven't been maintained because they probably haven't been used as a doubles trailer in Florida. So we avoided them. They said, no, don't use these because they're not doubles trailers. And they have to be on the side of the trailer. It has to have the letters TT130, which is Tandem Trailer 130, which is code for our facility. So I was told a while ago, if the trailer doesn't say TT130, do not use it as a lead. You cannot use that trailer. So we buy these 10 trailers from another Dean Foods, whatever, in Florida. We bring them up to New York, and they put them into the circulation. I don't know about. There's no memo saying, Dave, beware. There are now trailers in the system. You cannot use them because they're not registered. No. We will not communicate that. I have to pass Joe, my buddy Joe. I have to see Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, Dave, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. So, did you hear about the blah, blah? Oh, thank you for you telling me. You're not my supervisor. Yeah, but they just told us. So I'm telling you. Well, what if I didn't see Joe? Because I often don't see anybody because I come in later. So, and then I go to my boss. Well, one of my bosses, one of the new guys, out of the 36 or 30 new guys we've had in the last 7 years, we clean house once every year. We clean house. And I say, hey, I won't say his name. Hey, dummy, I heard this story about these trailers. And he looks at me, and goes, like that German Shepherd look. He goes, Scooby-Doo. He goes, you don't really need to know that, do you? I go, are you kidding me? Did you just say that to me? You don't really need to know the difference between registered and unregistered. Are you out of your mind? It says on the side of the trailer, the matrix, the Dean Foods matrix, have to be safe, no overloads, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, no memo, no text, no direct communication. The boss came out and told about a handful of drivers who were waiting on loads, and then he relies on those drivers to tell the rest of the fleet. So I'm constantly in the dark. I'm constantly, because I don't show up the same time. I almost purposely show up 2 to 3 hours later than everybody else because I don't want to have any communication with these people. My show is called Dumbing It Down with Dave, but I don't really live the life of being. I don't want to be dumbed down in reality. I like, the title's a joke anyway, but this is what happens. This is no communication, no memo, nothing.
I had the same experience when I worked at the warehouse where Pat works. I would, it was like 10 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Wow.
And yeah, it was pretty much, I would hear about things like a week later. And they're like, oh, you didn't know?
All you had to do is ask me.
But
When you saw me once or twice a month.
Are those 48 foots?
I think the Floridas might be 48. The rest of the fleet is like 45 for the most part. Yeah, and so now we have it's just ridiculous. So then the other day we hear, oh yeah, you can go ahead and use them. I go, but I can't. On the side of the trailer, it doesn't say TT. So when I go through a DOT inspection, what's going to happen? Oh, don't worry about it. No, I am worried about it. I don't want to be pulled over. I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want any of this on my record. And you should want it. And we do the same thing with our dollies too. Things aren't painted. By the way, Dale, if I'll take a picture of this one day, and I've done this on other jobs too. And I don't know if you have this issue. You probably don't have this issue with Danny Herman. Do you have landing gear? We're really getting into the weeds of trucking. This is the most boring thing anybody could talk about. Do you have landing gear issues, like cranking up or cranking down landing gear? Do you have that, or is everything like zoom, like real smooth?
With this company,
yeah,
no, but
okay.
In the past, yes.
So you understand where I'm going with this, where
yes.
you're taking the handle like, oh my God, and then part of you is going, am I going in the right direction? I don't know if the landing gear is going up or if the landing gear is going down. Exactly. So what I do is, I've done this for 7 years, almost 8 years this April at this job, and I've done it at other jobs. I take my magic marker. I always have a magic marker. And, on the side of the trailer, I put up, little arrow, and then down. Because this way, that idiot proofs the landing gear. So I know which direction I'm going in. And I'm the only one that does it. I'm the only one that's ever done it at any job I've ever had. But the company could do it. The company could do it themselves. They could, there is a little sticker there, but the sticker gets worn out and all that stuff. But these are the forward-thinking things that people need to do, not only in trucking, but in all fields of employment. Try to be forward-thinking and think about communicating properly. So I write up and down with the magic marker. And when they come and they clean the trucks once every year or so, which is another horrible thing, but, they wipe it away sometimes, and I just keep on doing it. But I'm always the only driver that does that because I'm just tired of the guessing game. And if Pat, Flo, or anybody, if you don't know what I'm talking about with landing gear, God bless you. You don't want to know because it's a horror. You're just waiting to break your back. You're waiting to pull a muscle. You're gonna hurt yourself because landing gear can just be horrible. And people have been hit by landing gear. Landing gear has come back, and it's hit me on the nose a couple of years ago. It's hit all different drivers in the face, and it's it's a horrible feeling. It's again unnecessary. It's unnecessary. We could all work together. If we, like I always say, if we all do a little, then we all do a lot. Collectively, if we all do a little. But we don't do a little. We all do nothing. Most of us do nothing. I do something, but it's exhausting. And I will continue to do something until I retire. And then I will do nothing. Or I will do everything for myself. But I'm glad, Dale, that you have a good place. I would love to be speaking positively about my job and my employers. And I would, other than getting paid, which is not a bad amount of money. And the amount of overtime that I get is ridiculous. But other than that, it's a shite show. It takes a lot to put up with this nonsense, and I can't wait to walk away. I can't wait.
Have you ever found a trailer without the handle?
Oh yeah, and I've had them break on my hand. I've had like boop. Oh, well now what? Yeah, no handle.
Not with this, because this company does cross border with Mexico, where we pick up trailers that Mexican drivers take across the border and bring back. Another company from like 6-7 years ago, did cross border also, but they also did Canada, which nothing against Canada. I like Canada, but I got tired of going into Canada as a commercial driver because when you're coming back into the United States, you're guilty until proven more guilty. But
That's terrible.
I had to pick up a trailer in Nogales, Arizona, which, if you don't know, is on the Mexican border. And I go to back under this trailer, and I'm hooking up the airlines, hooking up the electric line, go to reach under, no handle. I call up my company, and I'm thinking, and at this point, I had been driving...
Excuse me.
9 years. I think I'd been driving like 9 years at that point. So I called them up, and I'm thinking this is going to be like a hard thing to explain. They've never heard of it. I call it. This was a huge company. You know, they had like 2,600 trucks.
Wow.
And they're like, call up, and I said whatever my truck number was. And they're like, yeah, in Nogales, I don't have a handle on my landing gear. He goes, oh, okay, we'll have someone bring one out to you. What?
Wow.
And he says, yeah. He says, yeah, sometimes the trailers, when they're in Mexico, they don't come back with all their parts.
Parts, yeah. Is somebody going to bring it out to you and then install it, or it's up to you? Do they Amazon it to you or something? Is that the way it was, or FedEx it?
This guy,
Jose.
He didn't
Jose.
Stop.
speak. He didn't speak real great English, but
I'm
this
sorry.
guy in this old, like, 1980s like pickup truck comes into our drop yard. He comes over to me and he says, "You need handle?" I said, "Yeah." So he's like, so he goes over and he puts it on there, puts the bolt through, tightens it down, puts the lock washer. And I said, "You do this often?" He says, "I have." And the other company that had cross-border work, they had told me that they stopped sending their... This was back in like 2005, 2007. They started doing cross-dock, which means they take everything off the trailer and put it onto another trailer.
Right.
So it's actually a warehouse, and they take everything and put it on the other. Because they had trailers come back missing wheels and no lights.
Jeez.
But now, like the company I'm with now, they have like an accountability program with the companies that they have that go across the border. And I don't know how far they're going into Mexico. I've never Google mapped anything on my bills to see how far away they have to drive. Because, Mexico is a huge country. So I'm pretty sure they're not going very far. I could be wrong. It could be a several day drive for them. I don't know. But they have a form that they have to fill out whenever I bring a trailer in. They have a form and they fill out of everything that's on that trailer. And then when that trailer comes back, they go back in, get that form they put in the inbound because it's going to be coming back. And they have to, they have to account for every single thing that's on the trailer.
Wow. Accountability. There's a word you don't hear in trucking.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? Yeah, you probably were smart to bring your own. In the future, if you went back, I'll bring my own landing gear. Thank you very much.
Well, when I was with that company in 07, I worked for them for like 3.5 years. From I think it was 05 until like 08. You had to have a bag of glad hand seals, a bag of
wheels,
of lights, but yeah.
Crazy. Is that Nogales? Nogales?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's at the end of the world there. Wow. There's Nogales, Arizona, Nogales, Mexico.
Yeah, there. And then we have another one's in Laredo, Texas.
Right.
And then Calexico, California.
Wow.
And here's a funny story. When I was with the large company that had the 2,600 trucks, I had to deliver tires to this warehouse for, I think it was Volkswagen or Ford. I can't remember. It was an assembly plant that was in Mexico. And I had these, can't remember if they were Firestone or Goodrich. Well, anyways, they had these tires I had to deliver to this warehouse. And the one thing that annoyed me about that company is they were time zone challenged. They didn't understand that where they were in Central Time, that it wasn't Central Time where you're at. So every single time I would get this load, they would tell me to be there at 5 a.m. And I'm like, they're not open at 5 a.m. This is near Mexico. We're lucky they come in by 9.
Right.
And and they're like, well, it says they open at 7. No. The time difference. I'm going away from you. It'll be 5 a.m. for me. I will have to sit there 4 hours. Every single time I'd have that load. And they were very particular. They actually had the Qualcomm set up so that it would ding them if it calculated that I was not going to be there at the time that I'm supposed to be there. So you had to be there. So I'm there. It's like, so I'm walking around, and I think it's like 5:15, 5:30, and there's a hill. And I mean, it's a steep hill. It's probably a good 10 feet. So I walk up to the edge of it, and I'm like, and then there's a fence. And since then, they've improved, the fence. Now it's actually like guard towers type, sort of like.
Is that the wall?
Yeah, the wall. Yeah, in sections in this part.
I'm sorry.
In this part of Nogales.
That was a little political.
It's actually like outpost where they can actually walk, and it has like 14 foot. I've been there since then because it's kind of funny. The place I go to with this company is just above them because the road goes down to the last set of warehouses. I'm on the upper where I deliver now, one of our customers, but there's another place you drive down this hill to these other 2 warehouses. And I've seen it since then. It's been upgraded. I mean, they've got 14-foot fences with like triple, barbed wire, razor wire, So they've upgraded it since then. But it's funny. There's this giant fence, and I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just thinking it's the property owner. I'm not thinking I'm that close to Mexico. So I'm walking, looking around there, and I hear a vehicle come up, and I'm thinking, don't tell me that they're actually coming. And I'm like, nope, it was Border Patrol. They come in, and they go up, and there's like a place up, like I said, where I deliver now, this one customer, and they go up and they drive around. They're just checking. They'll go and look at empty trailers to make sure there's no illegals hiding in the trailers and all that. They're driving back down, and they see me because I'm like parked like this, and then the hill is right here. So they come down, and they stop. He opens up the door, and the guy gets out of the passenger, and he says, "Hey, driver." I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "I wouldn't get too close to that fence," and that's when he told me that's Mexico. And I'm like, "You crazy?" And he says, "Yeah, if you fall down through there," he said, "you'll set off a bunch of alarms, and you'll have a lot of questioning."
Wow. So what was that facility? Was that where you were going, or that's just Mexico? Okay.
Yeah. If you actually look at the map, if you go into Google Maps, type in Freeport Drive in Nogales.
Okay.
And do the satellite imagery. It's the new drivers that go down there kind of freak out because when you're going there, and the company doesn't, even my company, nothing again, I'm just saying the directions or whatever, they don't mention, they said that if you miss the turn, you're going to enter Mexico. Because when you're coming up, you're on, I think it's Arizona Route 187, and you're going down this highway, and it's an Arizona state highway, and all of a sudden you're coming up this hill, and all of a sudden you start seeing these signs that says firearms illegal in Mexico, medical marijuana illegal in Mexico, illegal in the United States, and then they'll have all these other, signs that are in Spanish. And then literally like 100 feet, 200 feet, there is a street sign that says Freeport Road. And you have to turn right, then immediately turn left. Now you're parallel with the road that you were on, and then it jogs to the right and goes into the industrial complex. But if you miss Freeport and keep going straight, you will literally get to the gates going into Mexico.
Wow. I'm looking for it it's in Nogales. I'm looking for it, but I'll have to look for it later.
No, I can. I'll send you the link in the Zoom chat.
I like the way you were doing handoglyphics before. Like, no, it's further away. Like you talk slower. You go, no, you don't understand. It's further away. I like the way you have to describe it to them. That's. I feel like that all the time. I have to look at them. I have to take that German Shepherd and stop them from tilting their head and, perk up their ears and go, now watch me. I'm going to sign it for you. It's further away. That's great. Well, Pat, we have successfully hijacked the show.
That's fine. I'm not.
Gail and I are. It was supposed to be an intervention for you, to stop.
I've been intervened.
Yeah. So
I think this is Pat's punishment for talking about the Browns where we hijack his show.
That I believe.
Or
But I got something for you, Mr. Miracle. I got something for you. Dave, you're going to love this too.
Oh boy.
We've had this running thing about going through Uranus. I think we even talked about that one other time you were here. And
it's in the chat.
I saw it. Thank you.
Flora has been.
Well, somebody actually shared this most recent thing, and that's I said, oh, I guess I better tag Dale in this and stuff, and so that's what happened.
I started looking for something to put in the top of the show tonight, and
Dave Kanyan came along.
I had first stumbled across this thing that Flora sent us, and it was being able to view Uranus anytime this week. Well, as I'm looking through the internet, there's this other one that's on there, and it says, what it would be like to fall into Uranus.
Oh my God!
No. Patrick.
I decided that one was a little bit too long, so we went back to
the other one.
Went back to the other one.
I always wondered what the atmosphere is like in Uranus.
They said it would be really cold, really cold and dark.
God.
And gaseous.
I thought it was hot and gassy. I was going with hot and gassy, and hot gusts of periodic high gusts of wind. But that's a whole nother show. Yeah, I see it there, Dale. I'm going to take a closer look at it later on. But
here's the.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. Wow.
And watching it was right there and there.
That's Freeport Road.
That's the border, the international border.
Wow. It sounds like fun.
I zoomed in too far.
Is that a cross? Is that like a cross? It looks like a church steeple or something. That looks like a cross.
My mouse is not, my track point is not. So I was parked right, and that's that hill.
Wow.
And they went down to drive around the perimeter and then came back up. Because that road goes down like this.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's great. Is that a cross, by the way? Is it a cross?
Where?
To your right. There you go. Right there. What is that? Yeah, that looks like a cross. What is that?
I don't know.
This is like that Unknown Expedition show. What is that? Let's go to commercial. Looks like a cross to me. Looks like, all right. I'm just saying it's a little creepy.
It's probably a monastery.
All right. So there you go. That sounds like fun. Boy, I'm going to put that on my bucket list of places to go before I die. Nogales. I want to see it.
Road.
There is a McDonald's down there.
Yeah, there's the turnoff. And if you miss that turnoff, you're going to have to learn Spanish very quickly.
No problema. There you go.
I did want to ask something a little different, Dave. If and when you're ready, have you heard from Hal? How's he doing as far as the song and that goes?
Hal is taking his proceeds from the sales of his hit song "Going for a Drive," and he just bought a new car.
Super.
He's already living the rock star life. He bought a new car. I think I'm only joking, but I know he traded his old car for a newer car, but I don't know the details. I don't want to. This is not TMZ, for Hal Aaron Cohen, Hal and Philly, star singer of "Going for a Drive." But he did send me a picture the other day, or he posted on Facebook. He got a new car. So I said to him, "Already? This is what you're doing with your proceeds? How did you buy a car with $15? I have no idea." But he does appreciate what you've done, and it's great. I mean, it's about time he's put it up for sale, and it's a great song. Everybody should buy for $1. I mean, he should make $1 million. Everybody should just part with $1. Well,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
in that site, when you go to buy that thing, it asks you what you want to contribute, and I just for the hell of it, gave him $5. Hopefully, everybody else will too.
Yeah.
But I heard when you posted that stuff, I thought, well, I do like that guy, and I thought
he's a great guy,
and I love that song.
Right? It's a great song. He's hoping that a car company will pick it up, and they should. Chevrolet should absolutely pick it up. They've always had great songs. Back in the day, I remember baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
Yep.
That was a great song, and I remember that, and all those great songs. But the car commercials always have, but they're always paying like a famous band for the song. Here's a chance to get a song nobody ever has. It's a great hook. It's a great melody and all that. I mean, the words are a little, not really pro whatever, smoke so much I can smell my own breath is whatever. But, you can change the words and they'll pay him a hefty price. And hopefully because he's retired. He's a man of a certain age.
Yeah.
He's recovering from a certain illness and, he can't play live. So, but I don't know if you heard the show that I did, but how the sequence of events that we met, me going to Podcast Movement and getting a room with a roommate, and Hal, showing up, and the whole Facebook connection, and my roommate insisting that we get a case of beer, and then I took a picture of the refrigerator before and after the case of beer, and Hal sees the picture, then I meet Hal, and then one thing led to another, and now look, he's got a new car based on meeting me, which is I'm going to take credit for it. Based on meeting me and me talking about his song, because as soon as I heard it, I knew it was a great song. It's and it's a shame that a Bon Jovi or some band hasn't heard it.
I agree.
If they play it, if they re-record it, they'll make $1 million.
As I usually leave in the morning, of course I'm going for a drive anyway. Yeah. I usually hum that song all the way out the door.
Yeah, isn't that great? It's a great starter of the day. I'm thinking also Creedence Clearwater. What's his name? John
Fogerty.
John Fogerty. Yeah. I mean, imagine if John Fogerty did it. I mean, he took that baseball song, "Put Me In, Coach, I'm Ready to Play," and not to mention all those other hits. Imagine if he did this song, going for a drive.
That'd be great.
But Hal feels weird about. He says an artist can't promote their own song, so he needs an agent to do it. And I've missed that agent boat. I don't know how to be an agent. But believe me, and it's not the first time I've said this about an artist, but if I could, I would totally just, I go out there and sell Hal Aaron Cohen. And he has other good songs too. This happens to be the one song that I've really latched onto. But I have in my Dropbox 20 of his other songs, and he does have a knack for that catchy hook that you need in a pop song. But going for a drive, and plus my show is all about driving. And when I do go video, full blown, video, I'm probably going to use that song, and I just might call my show "Going for a Drive" with Dave Kanyan. I might do that, but not right now. Right now, it's Dale and Dave, trying to fix Pat Morrow and his problems. It's by
it's going to take a lot more fixing than you got time for.
I was going to say Dale knows.
With, was it Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr.? He was the agent. Show me the money.
Show me the money. Right. So we need to show Hal the money. So yeah. So for all the Crooked River Radio listeners that are out there, go to Bandcamp.com and look up Pat Morrow and Going for a Drive, and what's so funny?
You said Pat Morrow and Going for a Drive.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's Hal Cohen.
Look up Hal Aaron Cohen and Going for a Drive. I'm sorry.
I thought you were really making a funny about the Bandcamp, because
No. I mean, that's the name of the website. I think it's Bandcamp. And,
okay.
And like I said, you can give $1 to Hal for one song, or you can give $5 or $10, or you could buy how many versions, how many of the song, and gift them in an email to your friends. How great it is to find send out an email, say, hey, here's a song I bought for you. It cost me $1, big deal. And you could buy it for $10 and send it to your 10 friends. So it's a good thing, but it's a good song. If it was a bad song, I would never have adopted it to my show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk about it. But it'd be great. How great would it be if something went viral and Hal can just get his own beer from now on and wouldn't have to mooch off of me, when he sees me at Podcast Movement. So who knew?
When's
all because I posted a picture on Facebook. All because I posted a refrigerator, which I did post in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. You'll see the picture of the refrigerator stocked with Miller beer, by the way.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a great... I could have made the picture better. Had I known I was going to be famous for it, I would have lined them all up neatly. What's that, Dale?
Have you come out with part 3 yet?
Of my month of hell?
Yes.
Thank you, Dale. I appreciate you asking that question.
I'm on pins and needles about that because I can relate.
Thank you. Yes, no, I was supposed to do it the other day, but I ended up with another new episode where I never get to it. I never got to it, but there is a part 3, and I should shut this off and go in my van right now and do it because I feel like I'm ready to do it. This whole conversation is definitely there is a part 3, and I'm going to do it. Thank you for asking that, by the way.
How far away are we on? Or far along are we on the comments? I think you were in July. I don't even know. We're getting there. We're about July. Well, July 13th starts my month of hell. I think are we in August? I have my phone right here. I'll take a look. But we're getting there. I'm taking this comment thing way too long. I shouldn't have let it go this far out, and I should really learn how to marry my show with the comments and do a little bit of commenting, a little bit. But again, who cares? My show is just one long timeline. It's like this. It's like one long, and however it begins and ends. It's so great to be an independent podcaster because I don't have to follow any rules at all. I got no camera watching me podcast. When I podcast the way I want. So I've gotten used to that. And if the listeners follow along, the listeners follow along. If they don't, they don't. I could care less. So but I am catching up, and I don't know where I'm at now. Episode. I can't remember because I just downloaded. I just downloaded last week, so I'll be listening to that this week. So I have.
Thank you. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and leave a comment if you could, or call the dumb line. Call the Dumbing It Down with Dave dumb line.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that, but I keep forgetting.
That's okay, Dale. That's
okay, how's that line doing since you got it? You set it up.
I got 4 calls. I get like one every couple of weeks. I got Joe Foley, all podcasters, by the way, except for the last one. Joe Foley from the No Sitting on the Sidelines Dad podcast, Linda Irwin from Awesome Insanity Surfers, and Pat Maruki, also commented, and then this week I got Pat Mason, one of the Pats. So I got 2 out of the 3 Pats commenting.
You never know. The third one might call in one of these days.
Please call in
if he ever recovers from the Browns.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You should call in during halftime of one of your losing Cleveland Browns games, and just let it out. And you know what, Pat? You can go longer than a minute. I give you an extra minute, and if you use profanity, I'm gonna have to send it back to you so you can edit it because I'm not gonna play profanity. But I assume it'll be late.
Oh, I understand that.
With a lot of,
I would have to be parked and not driving to call the dumb line because Pat has always said, he said, well, why don't you record yourself and do a podcast for the network while you're driving? And I'm like, well, Pat, you would have to put like an explicit tag because I have like certain levels where I would like I rate my week by how many times I had to blow the horn.
Come on.
Really?
Because it's more of like of this like shaking my head in disbelief, swearing, and then making up swearing, and then there is blowing the horn.
Wow.
And then there is blowing the horn until my air gauge starts passing 90 psi.
Really?
I never knew that about you, Dale.
But honestly, that doesn't happen very often. But you have to be a privileged person to get that treatment. Most of the time, I'm not even saying anything, or I don't even know excuse me, what to even say, because I'm just listening to the podcast, and but it's more of it's almost like a commentator in like a golf match or something. It's pretty much like, well, it's like today. Today would have probably been one of those explicit days, only because this trailer that I picked up was loaded backwards. There's a 6,000-pound difference between the trailer axles and the nose of the trailer. And I've had to go up the Ozark Mountains. And I still have another... I was looking on Google Maps here. Let me do directions here. Refresh my memory. I still have 85 more miles.
Go.
And it's more of that bad swearing, but it's more of just, you go from like, you're going down these hills with my Jake brake on. It's the engine brake. It's that noise you hear in the trucks that go, that noise. It's basically the valves, the exhaust valves in the engine are closing, and there's 3,500 psi of air being pushed into the cylinders to compress the diesel. Well, instead of exhausting it out the exhaust, the valves close and cause drag on the pistons, so it slows the truck down because the pistons can't go up and down. They're fighting 3,500 pounds of psi. So I'm going down these hills with my Jake on, trying to keep it under 75. I try to keep it about 70, 72, going down. And then you go up this hill, and we have a governor. I can't exceed 68 miles an hour. So you're going down this hill, you start climbing the hill, and then the governor is like 68, 67, 66, 60. Oh, you want to accelerate. Okay, wait a minute. I have to downshift now. Okay, now I'm going to accelerate. Yeah, and I'm going up these hills 35 miles an hour.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. What's makeup cursing? Because I know what makeup sex is, but what's makeup cursing? Are you just making up words, or are you feeling remorseful about what you said? What?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank
What's
God
makeup
she
cursing?
can't hear what you're saying.
and it's really not that bad. Like,
I guess they can't see
What's a
you.
makeup
friends have hurt. I don't talk on the phone much anymore. It's because I
can't
don't
see you.
I don't know. I just got tired of talking on the phone. But
I
when I
guess
used
we
to talk to
neither.
people on the
We're
phone, they thought I had like
I don't know
road
why they
rage
can't
or
see us.
Tourette's.
Right.
But this is
I have those friends.
This is Dale Merrick
I know those
right
people.
here. And then
Yeah.
this
But-
is a man named Dave Kanyan right there.
After 17 years
Mm-hmm.
of doing this, it honestly takes quite a bit to, light a fire under me and to blow the horn. I mean, a bad week is when I blow the horn twice.
Right.
And I think I had one. I think I blew the horn last week one time. and I haven't. Was it last week or the week before? But anyways, yeah. But
Is there a child in the room? I think there's a child in the room, Dale.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we've been-
but she can't hear
She
you
can't hear
guys.
anything.
We
Okay.
both have our headphones on, so she
no,
can't
but
hear you.
makeup swearing is just basically. It's like
Fartsy poopy?
what
Fartsy poopy head?
I can't, I'm
What's
trying to find a filtered way of explaining it. But I learned a word from YouTube from Scotland or Ireland to get around the filters on YouTube for
Right.
swearing. It's feck,
Feck?
Feck.
Okay.
It's an act. I can't remember what it means in Irish, But this one YouTuber I watch, she's Irish, and she'll use feck, and because it sounds like the the other F word, so I've started using that, and it's more of like feckity feck feck feck, you stupid. It's almost like the old comedy routines of what was his name that got in trouble with the allegations?
George Carlin?
No,
before
not
him.
comedian.
Lenny Bruce.
Bill Cosby.
Black.
No,
yeah.
Cosby.
One of his things was, I can't remember. He said from the age of like 7 to 14, I thought my dad was illiterate because he could never finish sentences until I figured out that he was actually trying not to curse, because he would start a sentence like, I'm gonna. So that's pretty much what. Excuse the coughing, but
Yeah, there was
Is that from peanuts? Are you eating a lot of peanuts? Is that from what the coughing is about?
no, it's my sinus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking up feck. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm looking up feck, and I can't see what the definition is as far as slang goes. You know, they're saying something about stealing, but I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
There was a thing about the Beatles. There was a thing about the Beatles a couple of weeks ago that came out that said somewhere in the band had decided to put see how far they could get away with the censorship back then, and they used a couple of Yiddish words on that album.
Oh, really?
And it was like MFers and everything like that. It was actually, but the censors never caught it. And I guess from what they said, it's still in there.
Yeah, I just use the word shite. That's as far as I go. I'll use shite because I saw that in a movie. But and when I spell it SH exclamation point T. So I might put in an E. I don't remember, but that's as far as I go with the profanity. But it's so funny, Gail. That is quite a reveal. I did not picture you as a road rager with the air horn. I mean, I blow the air horn maybe once a year. I mean, out of anger, but and I definitely don't have any road rage because
I don't honestly. What's funny is I don't have road. A lot of it is like just road frustration. It's not like I don't have any like some where you chase them down and try to run them off the road and all this stuff. No,
I thought about doing that to FedEx last week.
Pat has road rage.
I have road rage. I'll be the first to admit it. I was coming off the turnpike on the 76 out there in Youngstown, and I'm in the lane trying to get over. This FedEx driver comes up behind me. He's got he's got two trailers on him, and he saw me coming. I had my damn turn signal on, everything. I go to move myself over. He's about a half a mile back when I started onto the road, and the sumbitch cut me off. He did everything in his power to cut me off till I laid on the horn. And I think I must have woke him up, because then he moved over. Talk about road rage.
Wow.
And that was before the Browns lost, by the way.
This is the 9th month. I could say that I've probably blown the horn the past 9 months. Honestly, I've probably blown the horn maybe 4 times.
Is that down from previous numbers, or is that up, or about average?
Or is that Corona adjusted?
Oh,
yeah.
No, when I came back over the road, I pretty much made a promise to myself not to let people bother me. Because my one friend, she tells me that you can't control what other people do, so don't let them upsets you.
Right.
But it's also, I just have this way I can describe some people's driving is if they were to require people to redo their driver's test like every 5 years, there would literally be about 25 to 30% less people on the road. And I can guarantee you there are people that could not pass. The thing that really irks me is me going down the road, and times have changed where people used to yield more often than they used to. I don't know why people just in the past 5, 8 years or 10 years just decided that yielding is optional. But you'll see somebody coming down the ramp, and I've got, I got a fender mirror, I got the West Coast mirror, I got my convex mirror. I can see them, and they're driving like this. They're all the way down the ramp. There was traffic beside me on the left, so I can't get in the left lane. I usually try to. And so I'm going along, and this lady, I'm not picking on women, this just happens to be a woman, and she's driving this like this. We're at the end of the ramp, and she was like, okay, how can you be surprised? I don't care if you're deaf as Beethoven or blind. Well, you can't say blind as a bat because they use sonar, but everybody uses that euphemism as blind as a bat. How is it that you could be driving down a ramp and look and be surprised by something that's 13 and a half feet tall and 65 feet long?
Right. They're unconscious.
And they look and they're like,
Oh, come on. It was a female. Let's just admit it. It was a female.
oh no, the business type men are
Believe me, I know men are just as bad.
they'll be like arm on the windowsill. They'll
Oh,
be like,
Thank you.
Don't
Yes.
get me started on this.
Yes,
'cause I
sir.
had one, I can't remember how long ago. I can't remember if it was last year or if it was earlier this year. His pickup truck going along, coming down the ramp, and he's just like that. And the ramp's ending. So, and there's traffic beside me. And I'm going along. And he turns his turn signal on and starts coming towards me. So I don't lay on the horn. I just basically go, beep. He drops the phone, swerves off the road, and he, then come by, comes to a stop, and we're still going along. I see him coming down, and he passes me, flipping me off.
Wow. Flipped you off.
It's like, I just saved your ass. You would have bounced off of me, overreacted, and flipped your truck.
Wow. Craziness every day.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been an interesting show tonight, to say the least. I've been saved. We've talked about trucking.
Yeah,
What the hell more can you
You've
ask
been
for?
saved, all right. Yeah, okay.
What the hell
This is
more
going to
can
be the most popular podcast yet.
And we We didn't even talk about Uranus, did we? Oh, did
Only a
Dave
little bit.
leave? What happened? Oh, he's still there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh,
Well,
you put us
I-
on there.
Yeah, how about that?
How about that?
Well, I now know my my artwork is going to be for my new show. Going for a drive with Dave Kanyan. It's going to be a picture of Dale doing this. This is the move that truck drivers make when they're frustrated. They put their hands in the air and go, I have to tell you what happened. I'm telling you, I've seen that 1,000. I've seen it once. I've seen it 1,000 times. They go like this. They go, I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe. So it's going to be like Dale. I'm gonna go back to this recording and get a screenshot of Dale with his hands on his head. Right, there you go. That's the look.
If,
Yeah,
Screenshot that for me, Pat. Screenshot that for me.
if you have Google, you can actually download the
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
video
do that.
part of the show.
But the going for a drive artwork is going to be either Dale and with that look. I do two things before I leave the house. I do this every day before I get my car. I do two things. One, I pray to the highway. Even though I'm not religious, I pray to the highway gods. I say, guys, one more night, please, just one more night. I have a long time to go. And the other thing I do is I tell myself, Dave, you're going to encounter stupid. You know that you're going to encounter stupid, like within 50 feet. As soon as you get to the end of your driveway, you're going to encounter stupid, not once, but like on a regular basis. And that has really gotten me through my career. I really, out of all my friends that are truck drivers and not truck drivers, I am the least road rageable than everybody. That's not a brag. That's just I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of work in not being emotionally invested in that part of my day because it will drive you crazy. And Dale, I'm sure, never goes across the Cross Bronx Expressway, never goes across the GWB, right? Dale, you don't come over here, do you?
I used to.
Yeah.
Back between 2010 and 2014.
Okay, so that's 4 years. It must have been hell for you to deal with this over here, because if you've got it over there on the West Coast or the Midwest, you'd probably kill somebody here on the East Coast, right? Just admit it. It's okay.
That's. I never really had any problem. I mean, Los Angeles traffic is one thing because they're going so slow that they really can't do anything because it's just gridlock. But because of COVID, it actually hasn't been nearly as bad as it used to be. But yeah, the East Coast is that part of the country. If you don't swear before, you're going to be swearing after going through there. Because a friend of mine that started about 3 months before me, he took his girlfriend, who is now his wife, and they've been married now for I don't know how many years they've been married now. I'm thinking maybe 10 years or whatever, but anyway, she was very, I don't know what you want to call it. She was very polite, very demure. She didn't even like you saying darn. I mean, so he took her with him because we're on a dedicated account with one company, and we had to go to like Belcamp, Maryland, Havre de Grace, Maryland. We had to go to Wharton, Weehawken. I can't remember all the different places. Hoboken,
Right.
and Elizabeth, and what's Kearney? What's the one
Edison?
that's the north? What's the one that has the north, and then the one that's not north? It's just not. It's a town, but there's a north version, but then there's one that doesn't have north in front of it. I can't remember, but it's all around. It's all around like Elizabeth area.
Okay.
Well, and we would go as far as like Wisconsin and down to Texas and over, but a lot of our stuff was over in the DC area, in Philly, and Long Island and that. She was, I can't remember if she was with him on the truck for like 3 months or 6 months. But after she got off the truck, she was swearing just as much as he was.
Wow. Wow. Swearing, chewing tobacco, and packing a pistol. Drinking whiskey.
But yeah, driving through there, I mean, what I have to say is they've got some balls.
Yeah. That's my every night.
I mean, the turn signal in Brooklyn and in Queens is basically middle finger out the window.
Right. Right. It's craziness. That's what we deal with. But I stay away from it. I somehow, and what I hate is, I know Pat wants to go, but what I hate about this is that I'll be talking to a friend of mine, my buddy Mark, who drives for Conway is now, XPO, and we'll be talking la-di-da, and he'll scream a curse word. He'll just scream a profanity, and I got these in my ear, and these pop out. They pop out of my ear because he's screaming so loud. And I said, what happened? What's going on? He goes, oh, you wouldn't know, Dave. You don't understand. Blah, blah. And he tells me this whole story. I go, how is it that we're both driving tractor trailer the same amount of time at the same time? And we used to drive for the same company. We used to drive for Hogan Transport, the same routes. But I never screamed. I said, you must be following too closely. You must be. He goes, no, you think you're so great. You think you're so wonderful. Mark, I never scream in your ear. I just don't scream in your ear. And he goes, no, you just don't mention it. I go, I just don't have those situations because I create space. You must be doing something. And he hates it. He goes, oh, you're so great. Oh, you're so, he gets so sarcastic. He hates when I do that. That's why he doesn't listen to my podcast anymore, and he doesn't comment either. But it's crazy.
Yeah. One quick thing so Pat can end the show.
Yeah, he wants to.
Is you'll relate to this very well. When I'm in my car,
right,
and I have a friend with me, and we're just going down the road, and our car will like zoom by, cut in front of us, and take the off ramp.
Oh yeah.
Or some will come down, do the zigzag, and go back into the, and I'll be like this is the steering wheel, and I'll be like with my on the cross spoke of the window, just like, and she gets kind of nervous about traffic and that because she had a debilitating traffic accident that she had to recover from for many years. It's a long story, but she's upwardly mobile now and working. But she gets kind of panicked, and she'll look at me and she's like, "Did you see that?" I go, "Oh, the car? Yeah." She's like, "You didn't flinch. You didn't." I'm like, it's like, dear, after 1.7 million miles of people doing that, I don't pay attention. Because I have, like you do that prayer and the saying, every day. I have a similar thing where I start out and I'm like, okay, no one's going to get me to the point where I have to have bail.
That's brilliant. No bail.
No bail. And I just have some rules, just a spoken rule for people. Don't hit me. I don't care what you do. Don't hit me.
And we'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of life.
Yeah, I don't care if you're so close that the suction is pulling the bugs off my bumper.
Right.
You don't hit me, we're cool.
That's a great way to live life. Pat, that's a great way to end the show.
Yes, it is, actually.
Dale and I just go back and forth. Well, let me just tell you one more thing. Go
ahead.
Before we go. So that's a good way to end the show. Good job, Dale. Good job, Dale. Nice reveal. And Pat, I hope he helped you a little bit. I hope that you.
Well, stay tuned to the upcoming podcast, and you'll find out.
No, Dave.
Yeah.
Next time Pat starts complaining about the Browns,
Right.
we're going to start explaining how you recap hours on a paper log.
No.
That sounds about as boring.
Dale, let me tell you what I think about that. I can't even imagine. I don't want to talk about it. No.
I think that would be adequate punishment.
Yes. That's good.
Especially when because the rules are changing again on the 29th.
Right. So Pat, that'll be next week. Dale and I talked about how to what he said about the 24-hour outlogs. What's the word that you use?
The
word?
recaps.
Recaps. Yeah, recaps on a paper log. Next week. Tune in. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we have to
I can
explain
hardly
the
wait.
70-hour, 8-day rule. And
The Dale and Dave show.
Recap. I haven't done those in years. Thank God. Recap.
I've been on e-logs. I've been on e-logs since 2009.
Nice. Good for you.
So I did paper logs for 6 years.
I was going to say, well, listen, I'm going to go because I got a couple of dogs to feed and, all that good stuff. So, Dale, it's been nice, you guys.
Hey, Dave, thanks for calling in.
I'm going to say bye. I'm going to say bye for the night. It's been real fun.
Really nice to see both of you.
I think Pat is sitting on an e-log right now. Pat's going, when is this show going to end? I'm sitting on an e-log. I have to go. Please stop talking trucking.
I think you're right, Dave. I think you're right.
All right. Well, thank you guys anyways. You guys have a good week. I'm going now.
I have to
Bye-bye now.
so I can get in before St. Louis rush hour.
Have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you down the pike here. It's been great having you both, and have a good week. We'll be back hopefully next Sunday.
Paper logs, 1 week from today. Can't wait. No matter what, it adds up to 24 hours. That's the tagline. No matter what, it adds up to 24 hours. All right.
Good night and joy be to you all. Oh, the comrades that e'er I had, are sorry for my going away.
This has been a Crooked River Media production.